Hello, I'm Candy Katz, and thanks for being here. If you're joining for the first time, a big welcome. Having lived in Denver at the time and experiencing the wake of COVID, our family really said, where else can we relocate to? Myself, having lived in a few major cities all in my 30s, I was never really married to one town. And it was one of those situations where we had a townhome. Although our family didn't necessarily grow in size, the walls just felt smaller and we were ready to build and get into our next step up home. And since Denver was getting really expensive, we said, let's look elsewhere. And all the arrows just started to point to Las Vegas. And so our first time visiting here in the eyes of, can we see ourselves moving here, relocating to Las Vegas? We visited Henderson, we visited Summerlin. And those are the two major cities that a lot of people are aware of when they think of living in Las Vegas off of the Strip, until we discovered the small little pocket of Lake Las Vegas. We fell in love. And a lot of the reasons was because my husband is big on golf. So if you know anything about Lake Las Vegas, there's a few manicured golf courses in our backyard, making it super accessible to go hit some balls. If you're into outdoors events and activities such as hiking, biking, we're accessible to a lot of the trailheads and also the national parks here right in our backyard. So when it came down to it, we're looking to build. There was communities available in our price point. The interest rates were very attractive at that time. And we said, worst case, this is going to be our second home or an investment property. So we put money down on this home that we currently live in now, and we absolutely do not regret that decision. There's something about the roaring mountains in our backyard, the views and the whistling palm trees. Those things make me feel alive. And a lot of people think Las Vegas, it's a desert, it's so hot. Well, you know, I grew up in the South. I much rather the heat over the cold any day. Let's make that clear. You know, as a real estate professional, you can truly work anywhere. Whether you are selling homes or you originate mortgages, you have the luxury to be able to work remote. That's really a driving force for us. Both my husband and I, we have the luxury to be able to work from home. So relocating with our jobs was not a concern. And yeah, I mean, since then, I think the community that has been introduced to us, we've been surrounded by so many new faces that has migrated from all across the world. And learning from them through their walks of life has just been very invigorating. So it's been a little over 2 years now, and we absolutely love it. When we were relocating from Denver or preparing, we actually had a lot of moving parts happening. One was we were getting our townhome ready for the tenant to move in. So boxing everything up, loading it on a U-Haul, and then also navigating, or should I say managing the moving parts of our new home being built here. We really had to get our ducks in a row in terms of timeline, right? From the U-Haul arriving in a certain window, us deciding to get on a flight and doing a one-way with many luggages. I had a car shipped here. It was just a lot. And although that was very stressful at the time, I was working 2 jobs. My husband was doing a lot of the heavy lifting, which I'm so blessed to have a partner be able to assist me in those arenas. But I think those are the memories that when we finally unloaded the U-Haul and just came up for an exhale and looked around, we're like, whoa, this house is big. And mind you, we've only grown in maybe 700-800 square footage in size, but we got a backyard now. We got more of a living area. Our kitchen's grown a little bigger. Just all of the things that we were looking for in a step-up home. So I think the biggest memory was that we accomplished this as a unit, as a team, because that's not easy. It's not an easy task for anyone. As a kind of a fairly young married couple, moving to a town, a city that we didn't know anyone. We had maybe one friend that my husband grew up with in college and things like that. But ultimately, we were starting fresh. And that's one of the memories that I look back and say, wow, we took that leap. It was scary. And I'm sure that a lot of people can relate to start fresh in a new town in Las Vegas and assume that it's very cutthroat here. Are we going to survive? It's going to be okay. And it's been amazing. I think coming from someone like myself, living in a small town south of New Orleans and having migrated in multiple cities across the nation over the years, I think it's something that someone should always try to experience. I think anyone that I connect with here has shared a similar journey. We're not meant to stay in one place for too long. I mean, where's the growth in that? Where's the expansion in that? And I think on a personal level, it's very important to be able to experience it. That's life, right? Be scared. What's the worst that can happen? You live here for a couple years or wherever that city is, and you can always have your hometown to fall back on or what have you. But I think it's a matter of you're wanting it, go after it. Because otherwise you're going to look back and just always wonder what if. And that's truly kind of how I felt about it. In the real estate industry, I think it's really neat. No matter what market you're in, it's a necessity. People are always going to need a loan to buy a house, to open a business. People are always going to need to turn to you to help sell their house or relocate, right? And so I think I've just been very fortunate to have fallen into this industry, coming from a place where I went to school. I graduated with an IT degree in hopes that it was secured, that I was going to have a guaranteed job right out of college. And this quickly showed me that no, that does not happen. You have to go out and seek it. And I'm very thankful for the man upstairs to derail, should I say, pivot me to this industry, because it's just been so fulfilling to be able to help homeowners, business owners, people from my community, from my native tongue, get into homes and also expand and pick up businesses as entrepreneurs. So I think that is just my word of advice. What are you fearful of? Just go for it. Entering the real estate industry for me has been huge right out of college. One is, as I mentioned, I graduated with a computer science IT degree. The intent was to get into hardware, software sales, but after the 2000 crash, it didn't really pan out for me. And at that time, I was attending job fairs, just seeking any type of employment opportunity so I can start paying for my student loans, and I had car payments and things. I just can't stress enough taking a moment to reflect back 20 years ago, how that was the biggest blessing for me, to be able to attend that job fair and land my first position in mortgages, because this industry has really helped me grow as an individual on a lot of levels. As an introvert, but also as an extrovert, you have to go out, network, and meet people, connect, make these relationships. And so having those skill sets, some people call it soft skill sets, will help you thrive in any industry. And so I'm here to share with you the message that regardless of the profession that you land into, whether it is becoming a doctor or physician, even if you're in the automotive, say, technician trade, real estate is a necessity. As I mentioned, you're going to eventually want to buy a home, or you're going to need to know the principles and fundamentals of how to run a business. I'm here to preach and educate you on how leveraging loans is going to be beneficial for you, and it's going to be essential on how you scale and grow your portfolio, whether it's personal or on a business level. And I think without falling into this industry, I may not have tapped into that. I may not have had the opportunity to learn how leveraging off of other people's money will then give me the ability to acquire businesses, acquire more doors, and expand and build that property portfolio. Not to mention educate this next generation, whether that's my family, my nieces and nephews, to be able to do the same. As a first generation Vietnamese American, this isn't textbook. This isn't stuff you learn, at least 20 years ago before YouTube University and all that rolled out, right? But I think it's really neat that you do have the opportunity to pick this stuff up through coaching and mentorship. But if you're not in the field in terms of learning what it takes to get pre-approved for a loan, the credit that you need, the employment history that is required, you really won't ever set yourself up to create those building blocks, right? Especially if your goal is to retire with passive income from real estate. That's hopefully the message that I can share with this next generation. A key learning experience that really shaped my success as an entrepreneur and overall being in the real estate industry has been me being fearless, I have to say. My first move from New Orleans after graduating from college was actually prompted from Hurricane Katrina. Because of that natural disaster, that actually nudged me to say, okay, why would you want to stay in New Orleans? Right? You've been there all your life. It's time to turn that leaf in your life, Candy. And so that's what led me to Dallas. And during that time, I was young 20s, straight out of college. I felt like, okay, the world is available for me to just give it a try. Like, well, why limit yourself to just this city? And moving to a big major city like Dallas, it has helped me on so many levels. It has helped me to be independent, go out and learn new tricks of the trade. A lot of people don't take the time to want to see what else is out there, right? They get content or complacent and comfortable in their hometown. And I'm here to hopefully encourage you to say, step out of that comfort zone, because you hear it all the time. That's where the magic happens, right? Getting out of your comfort zone. And whenever I was in my young 20s, living in New Orleans, if it wasn't for Hurricane Katrina, I don't know if I would have relocated to Dallas at the time. Honestly, it was one of those that it happened and it made me say, it's time to see what Candy 2.0 is. And I'm so glad I did. While I spent about 10 years in Dallas, I've been able to explore what owning a business was like, dabbling into other things such as protesting property tax values and learning how to sell homes, how to, there was a lot of things that I can say within that 10 years of Dallas on a personal and not even just a career level, but has helped me, shape me to be who I am today. I knew what I was capable of. And while I was tested and tried, I think it's the message that I want to share with everyone out there. This next generation or someone that's in their 40s, 50s, 60s wanting to start over, it's never too late. I think, what do you have to lose? I really think it's great that I took that leap of faith and it has landed me here in this beautiful town of Lake Las Vegas. Your support means a lot, so please show some love by hitting that subscribe button and sharing my weekly videos. I can be found on other social platforms at Hello Candy Cats, and let's grow this community together.